Welcome to the Edward Waters University National Signing Day special for our college football season alongside the head football coach, Toriano Morgan. I'm Joshua Jackson. Coach, you talk about momentum. That's a big word we talked about closing last year, going into this year. Definite signs of momentum going into the right direction. Finishing out the year 5 and 6, trying to take that momentum into the offseason. You guys have done that in a big way, especially with the class that you signed today.
Well, we finished last season on a high note, reeling off 4 wins in a row. We definitely wanted to make sure that we kept that momentum rolling into the next phase of the cycle, which was the recruiting cycle. So we knew there were certain areas in particular, so on both particular sides of the balls and special teams, that we had some immediate needs that we needed to replace some depth and get some guys that can come in and be some immediate contributors. So we wanted to do that, and we wanted to attack that strategically from the high school standpoint, bringing in a traditional young man in high school, and then some young men that are a little bit more seasoned as far as them being transferred, already had some playing experience, to kind of infuse with the momentum that we already have going. So one thing that we were definitely looking for was fit. We wanted to make sure, athletically it was going to be a fit schematically with what we do, but also we want to make sure from a culture standpoint that we've created that the young men we were infusing were good fits for the program.
That's kind of a perfect segue into my next question. You hear a lot about, NFL draft time is right around this time. You hear about teams drafting, whether they're drafting for position or drafting for best player available, need, that sort of thing. What's your philosophy when it comes to the type of players you want to bring into your program, especially what you got right now? You've got a great nucleus that you're going to have coming back next year, but what's kind of your philosophy in terms of, are you looking for positions of need? Are you looking for best player available? What's your thoughts on those?
Well, I think firstly, you can't ignore the best player available. So you have to give that its due attention. You have to give that its due evaluation. So naturally, you want to get better as a football program, and it's no secret if you get better as a football program is based on the better football players that you bring in. So definitely want to make sure that we're definitely attacking the best available player. And then you have to also look at roster management and attrition. Last year we went really heavy on the offensive side of the ball, especially I think we signed 8 or 9 offensive linemen because we never wanted to be in a situation moving down the road to where that becomes a position of need, and if we don't get XYZ, we can't move. So we got a great nucleus of young men last year that we're able to get some great attrition with that as well. So if we do infuse a transfer or bring another young man in, it balances it out. Then definitely you want to look at positions of need. Some areas on the field, you excelled in a little better than some, and some that there's a particular need. Depth was one thing that we knew that we needed to address. So when we looked at the young men that we were blessed to sign, we were looking at guys first. If you want to be a winner, you have to recruit guys that are from winning programs. There's no substitute for that, so they come in with knowing how to win, being that, we were able to get 2 young men from the national champion Miami Central Rockets, great program, Delray Atlantic, Dillard High School, Jones High School. So we were able to really branch out throughout the state and then into South Georgia to get some sheer winners. Then we wanted guys that not only knew how to win, that can excel off the field. 4 of these young men carry 4.0 GPAs. And I was joking with the guys earlier that there's a couple guys that their GPA is higher than their 40 times. So once you get that good nucleus or that good mix, I think that's the formula for success that we want to follow.
And you talked about going offensive heavy last year. Out of the 24 guys that you were able to sign today, 13 of them were on the defensive side of the football. You know the defensive side of the football very, very well, as you're really hands-on with that defense last year, kind of being that pseudo-defensive coordinator midway through the year. But you were able to get some guys that can really, when they put on that purple and orange uniform, they're going to be expected to contribute immediately on that side of the football.
We didn't necessarily focus on size as we did skill set. We know the brand of football that we want to play from a defensive philosophy and standpoint, and we wanted to, one, get longer, especially up front. We wanted to recruit a young man that can come off the edge, that's long, and that it can run. In the interior, we know we have to, in this conference, we have to stop the run. So we needed guys that, were proven run stoppers. Linebacker area, the second level, we wanted guys that are going to be interchangeable, that can play in space firstly, but that are smart football, that can read, react, plug, and stop the run, as well as not be liabilities in the passing game. And then on the back end, we wanted some experience, so we brought some experienced guys in that are some interchangeable parts that can help us be a little bit more versatile than teams have seen us be traditionally in the past, which would then expound on what we're able to do schematically from a defensive standpoint.
Speaking of the brand, you're able to flip a couple of guys from the SWAC, that big, powerful SWAC, to come to the SIAC to play here at Edward Waters. And not just the guys from the SWAC, but really everyone that you're able to sign today. They're really excited about being a part of this program. That really just speaks to a lot about the trajectory of this program, the excitement that this program continues to have. I know as a head coach, that's got to make you feel incredibly good knowing that you got these guys here that are ready, roaring, and chomping at the bit to put on their purple and orange uniform.
They are. You just kind of, as we've gone through our official visits and when the guys were coming up throughout the recruiting process, one thing we expressed that we would be is transparent. You can walk around the campus, you can talk to people inside and outside the campus, and the growth is imminent. It's easy to see, but we wanted to make sure that they understood that the young men that come into this program are going to be coached by men that want them to develop first as men, then as students, and the athletic piece will take care of that. So we talk about our three virtues, and we don't negotiate and we don't waver it. One, that's graduation. The next piece is developing all three areas, socially, academically, as well as interchangeable within the program. And then last, of course, winning. So when you talk about those three things in that order, that's an easy sell for us where we stand.
Absolutely. Coach Tyrell Conyers, first year taking over as kind of your recruiting coordinator. I know earlier that we spent a lot of time today, a lot of jokes between everyone, but I know you've got to be proud of the work that he was able to do in his first time taking over as recruiting coordinator for this season.
I think Coach did a dynamic job from top to bottom. Just seeing the attention to detail, him knowing the lay of the land throughout the entire state of Florida, not just one particular part, but knowing who these young men were, what drives them, who they were coached by. He was challenged when he took this on, and that was to be the best version of a recruiting coordinator that we have. We know what we're looking for. We know what our needs are. Let's hold everybody in this room that's at the table accountable, and let's just go get it done. And he did an outstanding job with doing that. If you didn't know, you'd think he'd been doing this for 30 years.
So, he's not afraid to tell you.
Yeah, you heard him tell me to tighten up today.
Absolutely. As a North Florida native, I'm partial towards North Florida football. I think we do a great job, but any football program across the country, if you're going to be successful, you've got to be able to get some guys from South Florida. And you went back to your roots. You're able to get some guys. We talked about from Miami Central, that great program there, from Miami Northwestern, from Fort Lauderdale Dillard, from all those great programs down south, from Atlantic, all those great programs down south. What is it about South Florida football that just makes it incredibly special, and those guys going off to their respective schools and making their programs that much better?
Well, again, it has a lot to do with the brand of football that they play from the time they're really 5 years old. And it's a religion, it's a culture, it's a way of life. If you're a football player, that you do it. Now, once you get to the time to be able to make a decision, it's a little easier for us to come in, because if they're growing up in a region or an area and you want the opportunity to get out to see a different part, we're close enough, but we're far enough. Right. That gives that young man the opportunity just to travel a couple hours up the road, but still gives his family an opportunity to come make it a day trip to come see him play their home game. So they kind of get the best of both worlds. They get a chance to branch out, play a great brand of football, in a very, very competitive conference that has some impeccable football exposure that they need, that they want, that they're looking for. So from that standpoint, I just think it checks all the boxes at that point as far as giving these young men an opportunity to continue their education and their football.
Now, just because this part of signing day may very well be quote unquote over, that doesn't mean you're closing the book on the 2023 class. You know, there's still some guys I know that you really are looking at to possibly see if they can come in and be big contributors to your program.
Yes, I think it was a wise coach that once said recruiting is like shaving. If you don't do it every day, you'll look like a bum. So no, it's opportunities that are always there, and we do allocate time and resources to be able to move on a young man if the opportunity presents itself later on. But we're always recruiting, we're always looking. It's always an ongoing process.
Now the main focus now shifts over to spring drills. Now you've got your guys in ready for spring practice and get started here in a few weeks. Spring game in April. I know you're really excited about the direction that this program is taking. And you're really seeing a more serious tone from these young men that are on campus right now, ready to show that they're ready to be one of the upper echelon teams in the SIAC.
Well, the thing is I say to them, but I just draw the parallel to make it a little bit more of a reality. Once you finish the season the way that you finished and you experience success, you've got to be a very special individual to want to go back to doing it the way that doesn't cause as much success. So they've had some success, and they understand that the games that we did drop in the beginning of the season, I mean, we preach it, and I let them know we were 13 points from being 8-2. And those were games that one play on either three phases of the game could have swung it. But it all reverts back to the discipline component of it. Being able to eliminate how many times that referee is throwing that yellow flag that's putting us against the 8 ball. So these are things that we can control, and that we're putting a concentrated effort on making sure that the main thing is the main thing, and we're making everything important from that standpoint to help them understand that.
Before we wrap up today, we'd be remiss if we didn't acknowledge Tyler King, who was selected today after that great performance a few weeks ago, I should say, at the HBCU Pigskin Showdown in Selma, Alabama. He was picked up today to play in pretty much the preeminent HBCU's All-Star game, the HBCU Legacy Bowl, and with the great work that he was able to do, Brian Nolan Jr., your offensive lineman, continuing to do great work. They're getting some real NFL looks. They have an opportunity to be on an NFL roster this year. I know as a head coach, that's got to make you incredibly proud.
It does, and again, it just says to the young student athletes out there that if you do what you need to do in the classroom and on the field, and your talent displays itself, they'll find you wherever you are. So I must say kudos to both those gentlemen. Kudos again to Tyler on his accomplishment today. It's an opportunity that I know he's going to cherish. It's an opportunity I know that he's going to accept, and he's going to do well. I mean, the young man is a great competitor. Firstly, he's a great person. If you're in a room with Tyler and you don't smile often, then but he's a great young man, and we wish him nothing but the best, and we want to thank you for everything that he's done in his time here.
Well, Coach, congratulations on a great recruiting class, and best of luck to you in the spring. Let's see if we can keep that momentum going here in the fall.
Go Tigers, let's go.
For all the latest news, scores, and inside information on Edward Waters University athletics, be sure to log on to our official website at ewutigerpride.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon. Tiger Pride.